This is a special presentation from the Clean Air Bus production studio. Hit like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content. The R211 subway cars, built by Kawasaki, are New York City Transit's newest subway cars placed in passenger service in March of 2023. Over 1,100 subway cars are being built in Kobe, Japan and Lincoln, Nebraska. There are 3 variants being built: the R211A, the standard version, the R211S, a small group of 75 cars specifically for the Staten Island Railway, and the R211T open gangway test train. This video will review solely the R211T variant, which entered passenger service on February 1st, 2024. The R211T open gangway test trains have some of the same features as the standard R211 cars, including multicolor LED information screens, flexible information and notice displays or fines above each doorway, wider 58-inch doorways for better passenger flow, dark blue seats and floors, and yellow priority seating for persons with disabilities. What makes the R211T variant special is that each 5-car train set is fully walk-through, eliminating the need to use the end doors to walk between cars while the train is in motion and risk falling onto the tracks, or to just wait until the train has reached the station. Passengers can walk freely between cars to spread out if a train gets too crowded, or to more easily access the nearest exit at their stop. There are 2 different styles of gangways on these trains. There's the hard shell gangway shown on the left, and then there's the soft shell gangway shown on the right. There are 20 cars of this variant, 2 whole trains. 10 cars at the hard shell, while the other 10 cars at the soft shell. This was most likely to weigh the pros and cons of each type of gangway. What I find interesting is that the MTA decided to break up the 2 trains and have each 10-car train have half of one type of gangway and half of the other. This way, passengers can evaluate both in the same ride without having to try and catch both trains, especially if problems arise on one train while the other's still running. Let's take a walk through both types of gangways, starting with the soft shell open gangways. Now, let's walk through the hard shell open gangways. Which one did you like better? Which one do you think the MTA should go with for future open gangway cars if they choose to buy more? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let the MTA know your thoughts at the link shown. As previously mentioned, the R211T has some of the same features as the standard R211, but there were notable additions to this particular variant. Defined displays usually give useful information regarding the next stop and following stops on the line. Starting with the R211T variant, an infographic was added to display additional useful information, such as which car of the train you are in, the location of staircases and elevators at the upcoming stop, and wayfinding information to help with transfers to other subway lines. This information is particularly useful at larger, busier subway stations with multiple platforms and transfers to multiple lines. Another notable feature is the doors open message on the LED information displays in the ceilings. As the train is approaching the next stop, the information screen displays the station name and directs passengers toward the side doors that will open once the train is fully in the station. Now, you may have noticed that the LED doorway lights light up green for the side doors that will open at a station. On the standard R211 variant, the doorways light up green only when the doors are opened at a station. With the R211T variant, the doorway lights turn green as the train is approaching the station and stay green until the doors start to close. When the doors start to close, the LED doorway lights begin to flash red until the doors are fully closed. This is standard across all R211 variants. Upon further observation, every car in the consist has two of these metal handle devices, one on each side of the car. These devices are used by the train operator to maintain balance when climbing off the train via an underfloor ladder, to perform a walk around in a storage yard, or when there's a need to walk around the train in the event of an automatic brake activation. The R211 is a well-designed train with many features upgraded from older, new technology trains in the New York City subway system. Many of these features were employed by retrofitting older trains, and systems that were tested, refined, and approved were incorporated into this new platform. The R211T incorporates the open gangway concept onto a platform that is built from the ground up based off the success and innovation of previous new technology trains. I actually commend New York City Transit for choosing to operate open gangway test trains using brand new, fresh from the factory train sets, which reminds me very much of the new technology test train program of the 1990s with the R110A for the A division and the R110B for the B division. I do also applaud them for configuring them as two 5-car fully walk-through trains, since they probably realized that having a solid 10-car fully walk-through train would make it difficult to run without the conductor in the middle. Transit would have to operate them much in the fashion of Toronto, with the employees at either end of the train, which is actually not unlike the 42nd Street Shuttle. Both members of the crew on those trains are train operators with conductor duties versus a train operator-conductor crew. With that said, I don't really see open gangway trains being hugely successful in our subway, though I do applaud the MTA for at least trying. It gives the riding public a sense of what the future can hold for a subway system that seems to be overly stuck in the past. The main issue is walking around the train, not so much in train yards where there's ample space to inspect underneath the train, but mainly when there's an automatic brake application and the train crew doesn't know why. There could be a faulty signal which caused the train to automatically stop when it shouldn't have, debris on the tracks from a number of sources, or worse, a trespasser, surfer, or someone walking between cars that ended up underneath the train. It is imperative that the train operator walks around the entire train to find out what happened before the train can safely move. In tight spaces, the train operator must climb down between cars to check underneath. With the gangways between cars, this becomes increasingly difficult, especially since some tunnels have very tight clearance areas. The ladders underneath the cars are helpful when the train operator needs to climb down and check for issues, but with some areas of the system having adjacent bench walls for emergency evacuations in some spots, it renders them practically useless. The other issue that could render the R211T impractical is the process of closing off a car for safety reasons, or isolating a car in transit speak. With other trains, even the R211A and R211S variants, the train crew can simply lock all the side doors and end doors to prevent riders from entering a car with safety hazards, until the train has reached a terminal or is taken out of passenger service completely. With the R211T, since the cars have gangways that allow free movement between cars without any doors to isolate the cars, the easiest decision would be to take the entire train out of service, since you can't isolate an entire half of a train until it gets to the last stop. It would have to be taken to a storage yard or shop to be dealt with. There are isolation curtains, if you will, but there are two main issues with this. First, the process to remove it from the special compartments and set it up might actually take longer than just taking the whole train out of service. And second, though well intended, some safety hazards may not be fully contained within the isolated car and could potentially leak into adjoining cars. This would lead to an entire train eventually being taken out of service once the situation has gotten worse. The bottom line, the train would still need to be taken out of service. In a high volume rush hour environment, this is impractical and would cause significant delays. The R211T is a welcome addition to the New York City subway system, even if just for the novelty factor. Since nearly every new subway system in the world is operating open gangway trains, and many systems are ordering new trains with open gangways for better passenger flow and extra capacity, it would have been wise for New York City to at least experiment with the idea and bring the subway closer to our 21st century system. It certainly is an idea with its merits, but without other major capital expenditures, open gangway trains aren't really practical in our subway. They certainly look really cool and unique, with the ability to look down several cars and see the train going around curves while still serving an important function, improving capacity. It's a bit refreshing that the MTA is bold enough to try something that much of the world's subways have experience with, while using a new platform that builds on existing proven technology. Thank you very much for watching this special presentation.